First for you today, the Schoolies shenanigans have reached a critically dangerous level. An 18-year-old was allegedly struck in the head with a ceramic mug yesterday. Another teen has been charged over the assault. This comes as record numbers have been hitting the Gold Coast and other Schoolies hotspots around Australia and overseas. On the Gold Coast alone, 21,000 teens have been partying hard, and they're taking part in riskier behaviours all the time, then bragging about it on social media. More than 100,000 raunchy photos have been posted on Instagram. Parents and communities are in a state of shock, and there seems to be no end in sight. Let's bring in adolescent clinical psychologist Sally-Anne McCormack in Melbourne and 2UE's Mike Jeffries in the studio. Mike, let's start with you. Why is Schoolies so crazy nowadays? It seems to be getting worse, is it?
Yes, it is, and one of the reasons I think is it's kind of a subgroup and you have to behave like a schoolie, if you see what I mean. Young people are very peer influenced, so do we still have emos? I don't know, but if you're going to be an emo, you've got to be a particular way. If you're going to be a schoolie, apparently you've got to get off your head. That's a bad thing. We didn't do that when I was this age because when we used to drink, for example, we didn't want to draw attention to ourselves. We might not have been 18.
Oh, it's almost like everyone's flaunting it now, though.
Yep.
Yeah. Sally-Anne, do you think this is a result of just the age we live in? It's kind of almost a social media age, so good, bad or ugly, everything is documented?
Look, everything is documented, and it's really fun for the adolescents, and I use fun loosely, that they're actually telling all their friends, they're showing all their friends all the fun things that they're doing. And I agree, there is some type of, expectation that they're going to behave in certain ways. That's for some of them, and that's where the role of parents and schools as well come into play.
Now, there's reports that grown men are actually posing as professional photographers and targeting vulnerable schoolies in a bid to get them posing for photographs. Mike, I mean, are these so-called, they call themselves toolies. Are they every parent's nightmare or what?
Fact is, there are always going to be human beings prey on other vulnerable human beings. Mia got in trouble for saying to her daughters, "Don't get drunk, you'll be vulnerable." Look after your own well-being. I used to say to my kids, get your own drink at the party, no matter what your friends think. You don't know how many times what's happened to those drugs that you've been given. In other words, take care of yourself. Be aware. Don't put yourself in a situation where you're going to be taken advantage of.
Yeah, take responsibilities for your own actions, basically.
Well, you have to.
Sally-Anne, how can we protect our kids from this kind of behaviour?
Well, I think first of all, for those who have children that are going to their final year next year, start now if you haven't already. But for those who are going in the upcoming days or who have already left, I think we really need to talk to them about safety plans, what to do if something goes wrong, how to protect themselves, how to look after themselves. I actually have a schoolie leaving on Saturday, so let me just tell you, we've had a lot of conversations about how to stay safe, what to do if one of your friends gets into trouble, and that sort of conversation. We need to have it, we need to educate them and empower them.
Mike, Sally brings up a really good point, safety plans for their kids. A lot of the parents are now hiring chaperones to go away with their children. Do you think this is a good idea?
I think it depends on the parenting they've gotten up to this point. And if you are concerned that your kids can't do what I said before, look after your own well-being, it makes sense. I mean, the suggestion is you don't trust your children, but maybe you don't trust the situations in which they're going to find themselves, and they're just not prepared for it. I don't see it as a bad thing.
Sally-Anne, what about you? Do you think it sends the wrong message that parents don't trust their kids, or are they not learning from their mistakes and they do need this help?
I actually don't think that by all means, if that's what some parents want to do, they've been studying really hard. They've worked really hard all year. They've got themselves to this point. I can imagine that many children, if they were to have a chaperone, they would actually just do whatever they can to lose them. I imagine it's like having a bodyguard. Having said that, for those schoolies that are going overseas, there's actually a lot of people suggesting that maybe some type of chaperone would be a good thing there, so they have someone to turn to. But on the current spots where all the schoolies are going, I don't see how it would work. And I think that at some point, if they are 18, we need to step back. We don't follow them to parties. We just need to educate them beforehand, and then make sure that we have safety plans in place. And I think that's probably the best we can do.
Nice one, Sally-Anne. Thanks very much for joining us today. Mike, thank you very much as well.
Thank you.
Good stuff.